Hello friends. So like how to file or what is the process of filing a special leave petition SLP, either criminal or civil, in the Honorable Supreme Court of India. You need to have any of the orders passed by either the trial courts or else any of the honorable courts in order to challenge those particular orders in the Honorable Supreme Court of India under Article 136, which is not your right, but it is at the discretion of the Honorable Supreme Court whether to allow your petition or to straight away dismiss your petition in the limine, that is at the threshold. So straight away at the admission stage itself, your petition has got very bright chances, or more than 99.99999% chances of dismissal. Okay, that is because normally the trial courts or the high courts usually rarely commit errors. So that is what, and the traffic in the Honorable Supreme Court is very high. Per day thousands of petitions are being filed, and there are limited resources. You have hardly 15 courts, and out of that there will be more sittings of the constitution benches and all. So if in each court 2 honorable judges sit, so in the 15 courts almost 30 judges. Let's say if a constitution bench demands a seating of 5 or 7 judges, then the rest of the courts will not be able to function. So that is the main reason. So this is how the SLP, the first and foremost thing is an order. Second thing is you need to have an advocate on record, who is only person who is authorized to file any petitions in the Honorable Supreme Court of India. And if you want to succeed in getting your SLP admitted and ruled in your favor, the secrets of success are first and foremost drafting. The drafting has to be very appropriate and up to the mark, and it has to be to the point. The question of law, that is called, if you come to the Honorable Supreme Court of India based on any orders passed by the courts below, whatever the mistakes the courts below have done, whether it's a Honorable High Court or the trial courts and all, so those mistakes only will be raised in the SLP. So first of all, the questions of law have to be intact. They have to be extraordinarily drafted. That's the first point. And the second point, this is part of the writing skill. And who can give you the good drafting? Okay, the senior designate advocates hardly do drafting, and if at all you demand them to do drafting, they will charge you like a bomb, because the appearance itself ranges in crores of rupees for the senior designate advocates. So even if you request them to finalize the draft, even for finalizing, not for entire drafting, they charge anywhere above 10 lakhs. That's a common practice in the honor. That is the minimum. Okay, if your matter is a big matter and there are thousands and lakhs of pages to be gone through, then it will skyrocket automatically. The drafting charges itself will run into crores of rupees. So this is how expensive the litigation in the Honorable Supreme Court is. The first and foremost is drafting, then comes the arguments. The point in the Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court, is the judges, they go through the entire SLP before they come to the bench. So they know more points in your case rather than you might be knowing. So you should be on your tip of your on your foot. That you have to be very careful while arguing. Okay, and the additional resource what the judges in the Honorable Supreme Court have is the toppers of all top-notch law schools in the country. They have almost each honorable judge has got more than 5 to 10 legal assistants, so who will make their work very easy. Once an SLP is filed, it goes to their office of that particular judge, a copy, because the next day they have to the whole evening they have to prepare, and next day they have to come prepared. So these assistants, they will jot down all the important points, the lacunas, the loopholes in your petition, and they just they flag it on all the pages, and they highlight all the bullet points. They will highlight to the honorable judge, and when the next day you have come to the argument, so the decision was already made. To be frank, the honorable judge will be most probably inclined to dismiss your petition. he will ask you hardly a question if at all you insist, if you are lucky enough. Otherwise straight away dismissed, the next petition that also dismissed, the next petition that also dismissed. This is how fast the traffic will be in the Honorable Supreme Court. So the work goes on very quickly. So if at all you insist to the honorable judge to put your point, you have to answer his question. If you satisfy on the question, he might change your mind and allow your petition. So that is one important point. So that's why it's all about the drafting and it's all about the arguments. And who does the arguments? Not every advocate on record can be good at drafting or good at arguing. They are basically like the people, not everyone, most of them, they are like more like they'll be experts in filing. Okay, they will also just finalize your draft once you give them. So there should not be any offensive things in your SLPs or your petitions. Otherwise you will be heavily penalized and you will be sent behind bars. That is how it is. Okay, nowadays the courts are very strict, whether the constitutional courts, the high courts or the Honorable Supreme Court, they are very strict at this point, in this particular point. Okay, you have to address the judges and the court with a lot of care. Okay, so you need to have a person who the best counsels who can be good in drafting and good in arguing. So if your arguments, if you are lucky enough at the admission stage, you can hardly get anywhere between half minute to maximum 3 to 5 minutes. That's all. That's if that's very rare case. But the consequences again are very difficult. Even it's not guaranteed that if you got more time to argue, that means they will admit your SLP. Nothing like that, because it's all about question of law. If you are strong in question of law, straight away it can get admitted without even arguing. That is the beauty of it. So you should be very careful in succeeded in getting your SLP admitted. 2 stages. One is drafting has to be very strong and the arguments have to be very much intact and appropriate. And that's all. And once the Honorable Supreme Court is obliged, they will issue a notice to the other side, and which will be returnable in 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 2 months, whatever it is. And then the final argument, that is called non-miscellaneous hearing, then they will give you a decent time, maybe around 4 to 5 minutes or about that. So then it will be heard again on the admissibility of or conversion into the appeal. And if at all you succeed in this SLP at that stage, most of them they can give a direction, and they can either they will direct the High Court to listen the matter fresh or whatever it is, to adjudicate it fresh or to decide the matter, and they will pass it on to the High Courts. In the rare case, they will admit. If they admit, then your SLP will be renumbered as either a civil appeal or a criminal appeal. This is the process. And once it is numbered into an appeal, that means you are very lucky. And then it will again go for after a few years or months, then will again come for hearing, for the final hearing. Then it will be adjudicated. Then a fantastic judgment will come out of the Honorable Supreme Court of India, which will be a landmark judgment. So you can expect a landmark judgment once in a while, maybe once in a span of 1 month or 3 months or so, which will become landmark judgments, which will be binding in the entire country. So it's not that orders are passed every day, but the judgments are rare. Judgments are more of the reliability on the judgments is more on the question of law, and they are binding precedents in the entire country. Whether the trial courts or the high courts have to definitely honor it, and they have to be they are bound by it. Okay, so that's all about SLPs. And what kind of costing is involved. If I would say, the AORs charge anywhere on an average up to starting itself will be ₹1,00,000 just for the giving you, just for the sake of filing, that is ₹1,00,000. And the next thing, the drafting is different and the arguments are different. So these two, as I told you, are the crucial parts. If you engage a senior counsel, the big matters, sometimes it's not that senior counsel can do justice to you. It is because of his face value, the kind of hard work the senior designates have put in their entire career, that really commands the kind of fees they demand. So their presence itself is required. That's if at all they stand, they will get favorable orders. but that doesn't happen all the times, every time, and most of the time, like, one has to argue and satisfy the open court that is everywhere. So everything depends on your drafting and arguments. And if at all, like, you can afford somebody, a senior, just for the sake of face value, that's not a bad idea at all. That also, like, the AORs or the people who are handling your cases in the Honorable Supreme Court can help you with such kind of appearances from any of the designate advocates. So that's all, my dear friends. If you have any type of queries regarding the SLPs or drafting or questions of law, you can always get back to me. And one last important thing is, it's all this advocacy is all about interpretation. If you go to the books of the codes of the Civil Procedure Code, Criminal Procedure Code, Indian Penal Code, or these kind of books, there is nothing in that. There is only definitions and the ingredients. Everything depends on interpretation. Interpretation flows from the judgments of the Honorable Supreme Court of India. So a person and a good advocate or a counsel is the one who has got vast knowledge, particularly on the judgments delivered by the Honorable Supreme Court. So you need such kind of counsel who can help you out with the nuances of this kind of petitioning in the Honorable Supreme Court, which is the highest court. That's all, my dear friends. Thank you for your audience. Good day.